Go.
Welcome back to another episode of Compelled, a podcast dedicated to talking about the culture of sexual assault and abuse, where we attempt to bring out the bigger issues and what we as a society can do about it. I am Joe Spiegel.
Mike Sutherland.
All right. Finally, we're going to talk about the big dog, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, some people call him POTUS, but, that could stand for one thing or another. I think it could be, maybe after reading all this stuff, could stand for piece of trash of the United States. Maybe? Yes?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So this one is a good one to talk about because it shows how when we talked about on other episodes about like things getting swept under the rug. Who else more than any other would be able to have this done, and pretty much so damn effectively because people talk about it for a minute and then they completely let it go. I'll give you an example. All right. When you listen to watch someone on daily, like I watch now of DeFranco, right? Philip DeFranco. He mentioned every time someone gets called out for any kind of the Me Too movement type stuff, he always mentions it. He'll bring it up as an article, and he'll talk about what piece of trash the person the perpetrator is. But yet, when he talks about Trump and when he talks about another stupid thing that he says or he tweets or anything like that, he still never brings up this stuff, the allegations, the accusations, and all that other shit. And I just find it odd. It's like, are people afraid to really talk about it because they're afraid of a billionaire who's technically the most powerful man in the world?
It's not technically.
We can debate that all fucking day, man. But
There's no debate. He's the most powerful man in the world.
I don't care. I'm not here to talk about that. So please stop correcting me. Let me finish what I'm saying.
Just continue on.
So... I don't even know where I was. You fucking... I hate when you do that to me, dude. I really do. Fuck. I don't correct you in the middle of a sentence. Please don't do that to me. Shit. Where was I? When you have someone as powerful as him, and you're able to pretty much sweep it under the rug, where even everyone that accuses him, they don't even bring this up. They just bring up other things about him. The war stuff, the DACA stuff, the wall stuff, but... If over is it over a dozen, over 2 dozen now, people that have accused him?
It's 19.
Yeah. Okay, so 12 so far. And yet people usually only bring it up out of a quick side comment, and then they move on to the other stuff. Why is that?
I don't know.
I mean, is it because... we can speculate all day. We're here pretty much just to read off articles and stuff like that, and then leave it up to everyone else, but... that's why we're here, is to keep the dialogue going. So, all right. So, what have we got for Mr. Donald Trump?
There are 19 women that have accused Donald Trump of misconduct. Some of the women's stories date back to the 1980s, when Trump's personal relationships were fixtures of the New York City tabloids. Others began after he returned to the public eye in The Apprentice. Their accounts describe a wide range of alleged behavior, including lewd remarks, overt harassment, groping, and sexual assault. And I could give a shit less about lewd remarks. Who cares? Summer Zervos is currently suing the president for defamation after he repeatedly called her and others liars. And what follows is a detailed account from each person. I love these things. Kristen Anderson, early 1990s, told the Washington Post in October 2016 that she encountered Trump at an unnamed Manhattan night spot. When he was seated next to her on a red velvet couch, she said that Trump touched her inappropriately. And the newspaper quoted friends of Anderson who said she gave them the same account shortly thereafter and in the years that followed. Mr. Trump strongly denies this phony allegation by someone looking to get some free publicity. Another, Hope Hicks, who is Trump's campaign spokeswoman and the current White House communications director. Anderson has not spoken to news outlets since the election. So, I mean, if you're paying attention to any of this stuff, you would know who these people are. I try not to pay too much attention to this because a lot of this is just tabloid garbage, and there is no real actual facts when it comes to news anymore. It's just all hype and clickbait. 1997, Maria Bellato, a Miss Teen USA contestant, and I remember this one, representing Vermont, was one of 5 former participants who told BuzzFeed News in October 2016 that Trump walked in on her and other contestants while they were changing. I remember putting on my dress really quick because I was like, oh my God, there's a man in here. She told the news outlet Bellato said Trump responded by telling him not to worry and that he'd seen it all before. I don't find that harassment or abuse in any way. I don't care. Of course, the Trump campaign denied allegations. These accusations have no merit and have already been disproven by many other individuals who were present. When you see questionable attacks like this magically put out there, like I said, that one I dismiss, because any beauty pageant, people walk in. I mean, you see it in the movies, but there's a smidgen of truth in the movies, and when they're walking around doing all these things. These people are in various states of undress, and they have to dress quickly, and things are moving backstage. So that I'm not saying that she's not right in that that she was self-conscious. What I'm saying is that I find that particular piece of news is garbage.
I mean, for all we know, it could be that, or it could be, what if he's so self-entitled? He's like, well, hey, I'm paying for this shit, so why can't I walk in whenever I want?
Exactly. And that's probably part of it. Lisa Boyne met Trump and modeling agent John Casablancas at a restaurant in Lower Manhattan in '96 while she worked at a think tank in the city. She described a dinner in which the women sitting in a circular booth could only leave if they walked across the table. According to Boyne, Trump used the opportunity to look up their skirts and comment on their underwear. She told the news outlet that Trump did not make any advances toward her, but asked for her input on which of the other women he should sleep with. Mr. Trump never heard of this woman, would never do that. That's what Hicks told the Huffington Post, and Hicks, again, is his communications director. And it's always the same. He would never do something like that. Well, how many wives has he had? And was he on number 3?
I think so.
Number 4? I mean, this is utterly preposterous. Now they're saying that when the grab her by her pussy thing, they're saying that was all digitally edited together, and he never said that. They took a bunch of stuff and then digitally edited it together. I'll find the article here.
He didn't say that when it happened.
Yeah.
When it first came out.
Rachel Crooks, she said Trump shook her hand, wouldn't let go, then pulled her in for a kiss on the cheek and mouth. I was so upset that he thought I was so insignificant that he could do that. None of this ever took place, Trump told the Times in a phone interview, which also included a separate account by a woman named Jessica Leeds. The newspaper characterized his response as highly agitated and noted that he called one of the reporters asking him questions a disgusting human being, which is what you do when people get pissed off when it comes to calling them out, and they immediately respond back with, you're a disgusting human being. There's something going on there. Crooks told the Times in November that she wondered how the country could forget about the women who accused Trump of misconduct. In a CNN interview in early December, Crooks also said she wasn't surprised Trump had reportedly begun describing the 2005 Access Hollywood tape as fake because she considered the president a pathological liar. That's we'll get into the 2005 Hollywood Access tape. 2001, Tasha Dixon. She met Trump while representing Arizona during the 2001 Miss USA pageant. Like other participants in competitions run by the Miss Universe organization, which Trump bought in 1996, Dixon said Trump would visit the women's dressing room while the contestants were changing. He just came strolling in. There was no second to put on a robe or any other clothing or anything else like that. Some girls were topless, others were naked. The Trump campaign denied allegations. These accusations have no merit and have already been disproven by many other individuals who were present. It sounds just like the same thing that they said prior.
Yeah.
When you have 19 people coming out saying this is what has happened, this is what he has done, you're just going to dismiss all 19 people? And then you have 2 people that said the same exact thing. Miss USA walks in while people are changing, has already seen it all before.
Yeah.
Garbage.
So it's either true or is a conspiracy.
Yeah. Jessica Drake.
Conspiracy.
During a press conference with Gloria Allred in October, Drake, a former adult film actress and director, described meeting Trump during a 2006 golf tournament in Lake Tahoe. This is the one that's making all the news. She said 2 women were with her and that Trump grabbed each of us tightly in a hug and kissed each one of us without asking permission. Drake told reporters that Trump later called her and asked her to accompany him to dinner and a party, which she declined. Trump offered her $10,000, is what she said, if she agreed to this offer. Allred showed reporters at the press conference a photograph of Trump and Drake together. Of course, they denied the account and accused Hillary Clinton of orchestrating the allegation. It's totally false and ridiculous. The picture is one of thousands taken out of respect for people asking to have their picture taken with Trump. He does not know this person, does not remember this person, and would have no interest in ever knowing her, which is garbage.
Isn't Hillary wasn't she too busy covering up all her other murders and shit like that to be able to be doing shit for Trump?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Jill Harth, 1992-93. Harth and George Horaney, her romantic and business partner at the time, met Trump in 92 regarding a business proposal. She told The Guardian in 2016 that Trump's unwanted advances began at dinner that night when he tried to grope her under the table. According to Harth, these advances continued at a January 93 business meeting at Mar-a-Lago. She said Trump cornered her in his daughter's bedroom during a tour of the property. He pushed me up against the wall, had his hands all over me, and tried to get up my dress. Harth told the newspaper that her husband, I don't know how to say his name, Horny, said he did not witness the two incidences but believes her account of them. She shared her account during a deposition in 96 as part of a lawsuit against Trump claiming that he failed to hold up his end of a business deal. Trump settled out of court. Michael Cohen, the Trump Organization lawyer, denied Harth's allegations in a statement to The Guardian. It's disheartening that one has to dignify a response to the below absurd query. Mr. Trump denies each and every statement made by Ms. Harth as these 24-year-old allegations lack any merit or veracity. Okay. Harth continued to speak out against the president after the election. In October, she tweeted, "My pain is every day with bastard Trump as president. No one gets it unless it happens to them," which is absolutely true. In 1997, Kathy Heller met Trump at a Mother's Day brunch held at Mar-a-Lago, where she was dining with her husband, her children, and her in-laws. According to her, Trump was greeting attendees table by table. When he was introduced to her, he took my hand and grabbed me and went for the lips. She felt angry and shaken. The Guardian interviewed an unidentified relative who witnessed most of the encounter, as well as friends who said she told him about it in the years afterwards. There was no way that something like this would have happened in a public place. I like how he said that, in a public place.
Yeah.
On Mother's Day at Trump's resort, it would have been the talk of Palm Beach for the past 2 decades. Heller told The Guardian in October that sharing her story the previous year had been difficult, but that she received tremendous support from friends and family. She added that she was glad so many women had stepped forward after the Weinstein allegations were made public. It's not a Democrat or Republic thing. It's men in power, which is absolutely true. Now, The Guardian interviewed an unidentified relative who witnessed most of the encounter. So they're just lying. These people are just coming forth and lying, about what he's done. I mean, this isn't new. There have been reports and rumors about Trump and his indiscretions for years. If you watch any of his press conferences when he's talking about his daughter, it's so inappropriate, completely inappropriate. Like, I'd date her. If she weren't my daughter, I'd totally go for her.
Check out this rack. This rack right here, top dollar.
I paid top dollar for it. Yes, that's my daughter.
I'm not saying I would, but if
I would totally do that
if circumstances were right.
If her mother were dead, out of the picture.
If you if we didn't share genetic coding.
No, I totally do it. Even if I did share genetic coding.
If we had to, then I would do it. I'd totally do it.
Not even if I had to, I want to.
I know her parents are very nice people.
Samantha Holvey in 2006 represented North Carolina at the 2006 Miss USA pageant. I see a pattern here. He would step in front of each girl and look you over from head to toe like you were just meat. We were just sexual objects. We were not people. When a gross guy at the bar is checking you out, it's that feeling. She was disgusted by his behavior, had no desire to win when I understood what it was really all about. Look, I don't care I don't care about beauty pageants. That's really all they are.
Yeah.
Beauty pageants are nothing more
meat market
than showing off your tits and ass.
Yeah.
Whether it doesn't matter if it's male or female, okay?
Yeah.
Take the male and female out of this. Beauty pageants. I never said, and that's exactly what it is. They make you dress up in a fucking bathing suit? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. And you have to look all perky, and you have to look thin.
Hey, look, man, there's still
It's
zoos.
garbage.
There's still zoos as well, man. I mean,
Yeah.
not zoos. I mean circuses. So, there's animals still get mistreated, and fucking there's still beauty pageant. Women still being objectified.
Yeah. Nini Laaksonen, a model and former Miss Finland, told Finnish newspaper Ilta Sanomat in October 2016 that Trump groped her backstage at The Late Show with David Letterman. Trump stood right next to me and suddenly he squeezed my ass. He really grabbed it. I don't think anybody saw it, but I flinched and thought, what's happening? Quoted a specific response from Trump or his campaign, but Trump proudly denied the wave of sexual misconduct allegations in 2016. Laxon does not appear to have spoken to media outlets about her account since the election. Jessica Leeds, 1980s. In October 2016, she sat next to Trump in a first-class cabin. In the 80s, almost an hour into the flight, he lifted the armrest, grabbed her breasts, and tried to put his hand up her skirt. He was an octopus. His hands were everywhere. None of this ever took place. None of this ever took place. Believe me.
If he thinks this way about, what is it, half to 2/3 of our population, right, of our women, if he thinks of them this way, does he really have their best interests in mind as president of the United States?
Melinda McGillivray, 2003, that she met Trump at Mar-a-Lago during a Ray Charles concert. Ken Davidoff, a society photographer who often held photo shoots at the resort, was a friend of McGillivray, told the newspaper that Trump clandestinely groped her while they and others were meeting Charles after his performance. The Post also spoke with Davidoff and said that McGillivray came up to him shortly after the meeting and said, "Donald just grabbed my ass." The Post said it reached out to Trump. Again, Trump proudly denied the wave of sexual misconduct allegations. What pisses me off is that this guy is president. It's that simple. Cassandra Surlees met Trump when she represented the state of Washington during the 2013 Miss USA pageant.
God.
This guy treated us like cattle, and that has been consistent since he's purchased the Miss USA pageant.
Yeah.
That one statement right there has been consistent throughout everything since he's purchased it.
Yeah.
Which is he treats us like cattle. It's not fun. It's bullshit. It's a meat market, and he's a pervert.
Okay, so let's do a devil's advocate for a second here. Do any of these women understand what can happen when the whole purpose of these pageants anyway? I understand they want to get fame and they want to propel their careers or whatever, right? But I'm not saying it's okay because it's not. You know what I mean? Just because you dress up like a whore doesn't mean it's okay to get raped when you walk out of the bar. You know what I mean?
Right.
Doesn't make it okay. I don't care how slutty you dress. You don't deserve that. But you got to take into account at least some personal responsibility that, hey, if you're going to fucking join something like the Miss American pageant, or Miss USA pageant, don't you think that maybe they don't really give a shit about your political views or if you want world peace or not? I think they care more about your tits and ass. You're objectified. And you're
yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's okay for Trump to do something like line them up so he can get a closer look at. And this is what she said: proceeded to have us lined up so he could get a closer look at his property.
Yeah.
But she included a photo of him in the Post and noted the guy was running for president. He probably doesn't want me telling the story about the time he continually grabbed my ass and invited me to his hotel room.
What I'm trying to get at is I don't buy the surprise on these people. The reaction, their surprise reactions to this happening. It's more like, fuck, here we go again. Them telling it. If he did,
no. This is look. I know you're playing devil's advocate. This is not. They're not surprised. This is the Washington Post because they have to make it sound like
risque.
No, they have to make it sound like when Donald Trump did it, it was the first time.
Yeah. That
it's ever happened to them. Like when I can't remember who owned the Miss USA pageant prior to Donald Trump. And it's like, I know Dick Clark did it, right? Mm-hmm. Well, did you ever hear any issues? I don't nothing. Recall. You hear nothing. And I'm sure stuff happened, right?
Yeah.
But you hear almost nothing prior to Donald Trump taking over. And like I said, this guy has had a reputation prior to that.
Yeah.
Of womanizing, sleeping, cheating on his wives. continually just doing things.
Pretty much elitist objectification.
I guess.
Well, he thinks he's entitled. He's entitled to take what he wants when he wants it.
I can't disagree with that. Natasha Stoyanov.
I mean, he grabs him right by it, man, when he wants it, right?
Yeah, a journalist at People magazine wrote about her 2005 encounter with Trump at Mar-a-Lago. While giving her a tour of the mansion, Trump cornered her in a room and forcibly kissed her. I turned around. Within seconds, he was pushing me against the wall. Trump did not relent until a butler arrived and informed them that Melania was on her way for their interview. Stoyanov said Trump resumed his advances after the interview, telling her that they would have an affair and mentioning an infamous tabloid cover about his purported sexual prowess. In a separate article, People cited 6 people who corroborated Stoyanov's account. And then, of course, he denies it. She revisited the incident last year in USA Today about the misconduct. In the piece, she said an Oscar-nominated actor had assaulted her when she tried to interview him for her college newspaper. Stoyanov declined to name the actor, saying this particular creep isn't running for president and no longer has power in Hollywood. But she said that the episode shaped why she didn't immediately go public with her allegations. Like many women, my life has been riddled with experiences of sexual misconduct by teachers, doctors, bosses, and more. Sadly, many women begin to feel this behavior from men as a given, and so we go on dying a little inside each time it happens. Bridget Sullivan met Trump while she was representing New Hampshire and Miss Teen USA. He hugged just a little low on your back and gave women a squeeze like a creepy uncle, and would walk through young women's dressing rooms while they were naked and changing. Temple Taggart, she first met the president in 1997 while at the Miss USA pageant. She was introduced to him, kissed me directly on the lips. She told the newspaper that Trump repeated his actions during a subsequent meeting at Trump Tower. Of course, he would never do that.
Yeah.
Ivana Trump, the president's first wife, described a 1989 sexual encounter with him in a deposition during their divorce proceedings in 1990. Her account did not become public until 1993 when it was recounted in a book about the Trumps by Harry Hart III. Just before the book was published, Ivana said in a statement that her use of the word rape should not be interpreted in a literal or criminal sense by readers. On one occasion during 1989, Mr. Trump and I had marital relations in which he behaved very badly toward me than he had during our marriage. I don't understand what that means, that her use of the word rape should not be interpreted in a literal or criminal sense. As a woman, I felt violated as the love and tenderness which he normally exhibits towards me was absent. Of course, Trump's organization, legal counsel, downplayed the incident in a 2015 interview. You're talking about the front runner for the GOP presidential candidate, as well as a private individual who never raped anybody. Cohen received widespread criticism for falsely stating during the same interview that a spouse cannot be raped. Oh, yeah, that's that one. After the incident resurfaced during Trump's presidential run, Ivana described her claim from the deposition as totally without merit. I have nothing but fondness for Donald and wish him the best of luck. Incidentally, I think he would make an incredible president, which she was basically told to shut the fuck up. Karina, Virginia, put his arm around her and touched her breast at the U.S. Open tennis tournament. She said she encountered Trump while waiting alone for a car outside the tournament building. Trump also made comments about her body to a group of nearby men before getting in a car and leaving. And then, of course, he denies it. Summer Zervos was a contestant on NBC's The Apprentice. She met Trump for dinner at the Beverly Hills Hotel. She said Trump greeted her with an open-mouthed kiss when she arrived at his room. Just going up to his room. That's awesome. He then grabbed my shoulder and began kissing me aggressively and placed his hand on my breast. I pulled back and walked to another part of the room. He walked up, grabbed my hand, pulled me into the bedroom. I walked out. Trump then embraced her, urged her to join him on the bed to watch television, and then thrust himself upon her before she left. Trump has emphatically denied any wrongdoing and repeatedly accused Zervos and other women of lying about their allegations about him. Zervos filed a defamation lawsuit against Trump in New York in January, accusing him of using his immense public platform to make false factual statements to denigrate and verbally attack Ms. Zervos and the other women who came forward. A judge is currently weighing arguments from both parties on whether or not the case should proceed to trial. If Zervos prevails, Trump could be compelled to testify about the allegations before a jury, which I hope it does. Look, I don't care who you are on this planet. If you're the most powerful person and the least powerful person, if you commit these types of things, if you do these type of things, there's 19 women that have come forward. There have been plenty of women. Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is another one that's like a Teflon Don.
Yeah.
I don't. It was several hundred.
Donald Trump to me seems like a real life version of Quagmire, where he's got way more money and he has no shame when it comes to putting it out there, if you know what I mean. Like he purposely lines up his cattle, right? And then he picks, and then guess what? If one shoots him down, he goes to the next one, right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, from out of town? Hey, you from out of town? He just does the Quagmire shit, and he just
all right.
And he grabs him by the grabs him by the this, grabs him by the that, kisses him, makes him feel uncomfortable, and if either they're down or they're not down, and then he moves on to the fucking next one, and he keeps on because he's got them lined up, right? And he's got them lined up for every pageant, every year. Just imagine how many of those don't have a problem with it, though. Imagine how many. And I'm not saying, just imagine the ones that said yes, because if all these are the ones that said no. Imagine which ones didn't have a problem with it, because, he's Donald Trump, and some people are really attracted to money and power, right?
And ugly.
Regardless of how shitty someone's hair plugs can be. So it sucks. This whole thing sucks because, he's living by that statement. He's living by the grab 'em by the pussy statement, which is, if they want it, you're going to give it to them, right? And that's what he's going to do, because he's the Donald. He's going to give them what they want, and he's going to take what he wants. Now, the only one out of all those that accused of rape would sound like it was just from his ex-wife, right?
Yeah, we don't, I mean...
Yeah. Now, it seems like, to me, that's why I think about the Quagmire thing, where he doesn't seem like he's already went over the line. Of course he's went over the line, but he didn't go over the ultimate line. You know what I mean? Where he just full out took it all that we know.
Well, you don't know.
That we know of. I'm just saying based on these allegations. That, it's like, that's what I mean, though. He just keeps moving on to the next one. He tries as hard as he can, doing the Weinstein thing pretty much, where he gets them up to their room or whatever like that, and then he gets aggressive, and either they're down or they're not down. If they're not down, then he fucking moves on to the next one. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, regardless, this is the guy that's running our country, all right? Regardless of what you think about politics or, how he's trying to save money for the country or whatever the fuck he's doing, this is wrong. He's not someone that, look... I'll be the first guy to tell you, guys can banter about the most sexually degradable things ever, okay? But that can be just guy talk. Now, someone recorded him talking like that, but it's not like you just recorded him talking like that to some guy in some conversation where guys are being guys, okay? He's living that. He's living by that statement, by all these allegations. They prove that he's not just talking shit. He's actually doing this shit.
Right.
So is that who you want running this country? Does he have all of our best interests at heart, especially women? I don't think he does, because I don't think he sees women the way that women should be seen.
He's a garbage human being, and in the very least, he should be censored. As far as I'm concerned, because I'm not a fan of the man. The person running the country, he's a figurehead. There's more to running the country than just one guy. He's just there to ultimately, make or break decisions in terms of ties and be a figurehead and be, and be that guy.
Yeah.
The fall guy, or the do good guy. He's the guy that ultimately will make us look good or bad.
I mean, have you ever heard like audio clippings of like Nixon when he thought he wasn't being recorded, or Reagan or other people? They've said some shit like out that you wouldn't expect to hear a president say, right? Everyone talks shit. I'm pretty sure Obama talks shit. He said some nasty stuff. When he thinks he's off camera, off mic.
You can't be naive enough to think that just because a person is the president of the United States doesn't talk like a regular person.
Yeah.
They're all human beings.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they're all going to have their quote-unquote locker room talk or say, oh, man, did you see her? She has some great tits.
Yeah.
You know, we all say that. And women say it. Women are worse than men.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, we can't just blanket statement that all men are fucking pigs when women are just as bad or worse.
Yeah, but you also know in the right context to talk like that. You don't do that in front of people.
Bullshit. Women do it all the fucking time.
No. You're not hearing what I'm saying. You don't do that in front of people. You don't talk like that in front of people and make them feel uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about locker room talk between just the guys or just the girls.
Women do it all the time.
No, I say or just the girls. I'm talking about what he's doing.
I just told you. Women do it all the time.
Okay.
And I've been subject to those conversations.
Yeah, I've been.
So have you. And it's just as bad as. And it's not locker room talk. They're literally talking about each other.
Yeah.
Or they're talking about the person that they saw. Or they'll fucking walk right by the person that they have a problem with.
Yeah.
You know. And like and start talking shit. Like loudly start talking. You know, and be passive aggressive
and personal shit.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck.
Yeah, look, and someone like me, I've heard everything under the sun. I've seen almost everything under the sun. None of this shit fucking phases me. No, but I also understand that there's a time for it and there's a time not for it. Like if I'm with someone that doesn't know me, I don't know them. I don't talk like that in front of them. I don't know how they're going to react to that shit. I hate making people feel uncomfortable. The last thing I ever want to do is make someone feel uncomfortable or unsafe. All right? So if Trump was talking about this shit just around guys, that's one thing. Like I said, we don't give a shit.
I don't.
But he's living this. He's living his statements.
I don't give a shit what you say.
Yeah.
You know? Look, if you say it, you can say it in a joking manner. My problem with the whole thing is the fact that he's a fucking liar. And he won't own up to any of it. And he lives this pristine fucking life where, he can do no wrong. I dare you to find any person like that.
Well, that's why I believe he became president, just to show that he could. Like he's already made he's made $1 billion. Now I'm going to be the most powerful man in the world.
Okay, but what does that have to do with the conversation at hand?
I'm just saying that that's the entitled thing. He's gonna do whatever he thinks that he deserves to have. He's gonna take what he wants, no matter how he's gonna get it. He's gonna take it.
Okay, but what if he didn't win the presidency? Does that still make him entitled?
In his own mind, yes.
Okay, but that's what it comes down to. The presidency has nothing to do with it. I'm going to take what's mine, whatever else. People have had enough of. People are getting to the point where they've had enough of the bullshit.
Yeah.
But we're still getting the bullshit.
Yeah.
And he's still fucking lying. And again, and this may piss off my friends that are on Facebook. And if it does, whatever. Here's what it comes down to: if you follow a man that continually denies and lies about his personal life.
Yeah.
And thinks that his shit don't stink, then you need to stop being naive.
And his answer to everything is fake news?
Yeah, it's fake news, lies, and fake news. Never happened, never happened, never happened.
Yeah.
And yet...
Deny.
And yet we just read these reports from people from different Miss USA pageants, like 5 of them.
Over years and years and years.
Yeah, and this started in 1996. Well, we're in 2018.
Yeah.
Okay. If you believe what the news tells you, if you believe what TV and paper tell you, if you believe what you read on the internet tells you about these people, then you're fucking living under a rock because you're just being force fed all this garbage.
Or you're living under a cloud.
Yeah. You're being force fed all this garbage, and you're not making your own decisions on what is right and what is wrong. You're just being told what is right, and that's wrong. And that in and of itself is a crime.
Yeah.
Because if you can't look at somebody, and I don't give a shit if you like them or not, if you can't look at somebody objectively and say what you're doing is wrong, then you have an issue. You have a problem. Joe and I, it happened to Joe earlier when he called me out on something. And that's fine. And that's the way it's supposed to be. If I'm being a dick or he's being a dick, you say, hey, you're a dick.
Yeah, a dick.
You're a dick. I do it to Bubba. Bubba does it to me. And that's how it's supposed to be. You call each other's bullshit out. And nobody's calling out his bullshit.
No, they're afraid to.
So
instead we have...
No one in this party is calling out his bullshit.
No, instead we just have the ultra fucking liberal side that just, they sound like they're saying the same thing over and over again. Fuck Trump, fuck Trump. But it's like most people don't believe them anymore because they've been saying the same shit about everybody that's not fucking liberal like them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't...
The way that they do it, though, is based on party, not person.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a Republican, therefore he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's not how it works. That's not real world. Stop calling out parties and start looking at people.
Yeah.
Everybody that we have in Congress and everybody in the House of Representatives, everybody, and this is a blanket statement, you're all just fucking garbage. You're nothing but a bunch of self-serving assholes. You don't represent me. I didn't vote for you. You never represented me because you don't know what I want. And the President of the United States is not a person that I voted for. I don't vote.
Yeah.
And I follow the George Carlin line on that whole voting thing. The reason why I don't vote is because none of these people represent me. None of these people have my best interest in hand. They have their own interests in hand, and that's why this country is a fucking failure. If you want a better country, then you fire them all. And that's why I refuse to vote. I'm firing you. That's my reason.
You're fired.
You're all fired.
So, my personal opinion, which I don't think you can call it. Can you call it slander? I don't know if you can call it slander.
Good. Call it slander.
All right, but
he's a piece of shit.
Based on all of this, Mr. President, you are a piece of shit.
Yeah, you're fucking garbage. You're a garbage human being. You've always been a piece of shit garbage human being.
So, sue me. I have nothing you can take anyway.
Yeah. You can have... What are you going to do? Take away my whatever? Take away my podcast?
You're going to take away my box of Cliff Bars on top of my fridge?
Yeah. You're going to take away my ability to buy a McDonald's fucking hamburger?
Yeah, exactly. Whoop-de-doo. All right, so, yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah, dude, guy, and... oh, wow. God, without even getting into other shit, man. Fucking nuclear Twitter war. All right. So anyway,
I would love to get into a nuclear Twitter war with that jerk off.
God, my missiles are bigger than yours. Oh, God damn it! All right, so are we good for now, man? Shit. It sucks because it's like you want to have a intelligent discussion about what is he, a molester? You know what I mean? You want to have an intelligent conversation, but instead it always ends up becoming political. Mm-hmm. And, there's always extremists. And just like with this whole shooting thing in the school and everything, it's just, everyone's either ban the guns or fucking, oh, no, don't take our guns. Fucking, same shit. Same shit, different decade. That's all this is.
Guns, no people.
Where'd that come from? God?
Yeah.
Is it God? All right. God, sounds like God hasn't gone through puberty yet. So... All right.
Oh, by the way,
yes.
More than a dozen women have come forward in the aftermath of the tape's release with stories of the presidential candidate sexually assaulting women. Among his accusers was a contestant on a pageant he runs and a former contestant on his reality show. One prominent accusation during that time came from a woman who said that she was 13 when Trump allegedly solicited her for sex acts at a party in 1994. In an apparent attempt to discredit these women, the Facebook page Capitalists posted a meme in November 2016 claiming that Trump had never been accused of sexual assault until he started campaigning against Hillary Clinton. Billionaire surrounded by beautiful women his entire life with zero sex assault claims until he ran against Hillary. The meme was recirculated in December of 2017 after 3 of Trump's accusers joined together to call on Congress to launch a bipartisan investigation into the matter. Although an official investigation has not been launched, lawmakers such as Kristen Gillibrand have also started pushing for an investigation into Trump's alleged sexual misconduct. Although Trump had toyed with running for president prior to the most recent election, the meme specifies ran against Hillary. Trump formally announced that he was running for president in June 2015. Although the majority of 19 women accusing Trump of sexual assault did so publicly for the first time after this date, at least 2 women accused Trump of sexual assault before 2016. Which includes Ivana Trump, And then she hurriedly backtracked on what she said. And then Jill Harth's lawsuit in 1997. And then there's been widespread accusations of sexism in addition to the two alleged incidents of forced sexual contact. The president was also reportedly accused of sexism before he ran against Hillary. I've already talked about that. Carrie Prejean described how contestants were subjected to the Trump rule, a pre-contest ritual in which Trump and his staff would evaluate the contestants based on their appearance. In her 2009 book.
Your boobs are not perky enough.
Many of the girls found this exercise humiliating. Some of the girls were sobbing backstage after he left, devastated to have failed even before the competition really began. Even those of us who were among the chosen couldn't feel very good about it. In 2011, the Washington Post used the Trump rule as a jumping-off point to list several other instances that allegedly displayed Trump's sexism. The world was reminded of the Trump rule earlier this month when New York Times columnist Gail Collins published a piece detailing how the Donald, in a fit of pique worthy of gossip, blogger Perez Hilton once sent her a copy of her column with the words "face of a dog" scrawled on top of her picture. Collins, it should be noted, is one of the many targets of Trump's gender-specific hostility. Last year, the master media manipulator was accused of asking the men on The Apprentice to rate their female peers based on appearance.
And also, look, I want to point out the hypocrisy of Hollywood really quick when it comes to regards of this. None of these people that are on the left side that want to accuse Trump of all this stuff, which is I'm not disputing it. It's probably true, but they didn't seem to give a shit when Bill Clinton was doing all this shit. Okay, they didn't seem to give a fuck then. But all of a sudden, the guy on the other side of the table, he's doing this shit, and now he's
different times. It's 20 years difference. We didn't have the media that we do now.
Well, I also there's things that more later on. I mean, we're gonna do Clinton in another episode, but I mean, there's stuff that was after that. You know what I mean?
Right, but again, different time, not as much social justice warrior bullshit, and not as much media attention. Trump was accused of sexist practices when employees of the Trump National Golf Club filed a class action lawsuit in 2008. Although the bulk of the lawsuit dealt with the club's break policies on paid reimbursements and supervisors receiving tips. Lucy Messerschmidt, who was an employee as a host, said that she would be taken off shifts when Trump was on the premises because he liked to see fresh faces and young girls. Oh, nice. The lawsuit was settled in 2013. So when it comes right down to it, he's just a sexist dick.
Oh yeah,
he's a garbage man, and he's like one of those salesmen that when a man and his wife go, and the wife is the one that's making the decision to buy the car.
Yeah. And
she wants a specific car. She knows everything she wants, and the man is just there to back up the choices and make sure that the decision she's making is the right one for her, to help her with that decision, I should say. And that this is exactly what she wants. And Trump is the sales guy that all he does is talk to the man.
Yeah.
And then when she interjects, he says, "Oh, man talk. Men are talking here."
Yeah.
And trust me, I've seen that. It's literally happened to someone in my family.
Fuck. So that's appalling on our day and age. It's
and trust me, when we found out about it, I made a phone call. I called the dealership because the person in my family had left that other dealership and went to a new one.
Yeah.
I called that other dealership and talked to the salesperson. I said, if I find out that you're treating my grandmother this way, me and my brother are going to fly out there and kill you. And he goes, well, what do you mean? I said, I don't think you seem to understand. Me and my brother are over 6 feet tall, and we block walls when we walk. It looks like a gigantic wall when we walk. I will come out there with him, and I will wreck your fucking life if you treat my grandmother this way. And I was very, very serious about it. I said, the other person at this other dealership treated my grandmother like she was nothing but a fucking piece of shit, and she was the one that was buying the car. Yeah. She was writing the check.
Yeah.
And she had been doing business with this particular dealership for 25 years.
Damn.
25 years, and that's how they treated her. And the sales guy, and so my brother took over because I was I was pissed.
Yeah.
And he goes, when my brother says something like that, he means it. So, and then my brother turned into salesman Mark, right?
Yeah.
So he goes, but let's just work this out together,
Yeah.
and then we'll go from there.
It's like kicking your ass is worth the plane ticket and all the time it will take to get to you and back home.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
just because the way you treated my grandmother.
Yeah. So think about that. Think about
it would be so worth it to get a round trip ticket just to fly out there and Jay and Silent Bob you.
Fly, fat ass, fly!
And just beat the fucking shit out of you.
All right. So, yeah. Oh, one quick thing. If you ever notice, every time they show Melania, she never looks happy. Especially when she's standing next to Trump, man. I think that's more of a convenience marriage than anything else, man. It's
very telling.
But yeah, it is. I mean, it looks like, and then now you keep hearing about all these times where she's not making it with him to certain appearances and stuff like that. Dude, I mean, yeah. So anyway, I mean, you read into that all you want, but it does not look happy at all. It sure as hell doesn't look like what is it, Nancy Reagan and Ronald. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So anyway, you good?
I'm good.
All right, we're good. Yeah, Trump, you're a piece of shit. And
Yep.
Sue me.
Yep. Suck it.
All right, Compelled. Tell the truth. Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
You're fired.